Hello from the Brown County Public Library. Welcome to Tell Me About It with me, Miss Emmy. Tell Me About It is a new kind of video series that I've been working on where I want to just talk about different subjects with you. And today's subject is creativity. Do you know what being creative means? Being creative means looking at things or thinking of things in a different way. We use our imaginations to be creative. I like to think of my imagination as like a little muscle in my brain. And what do muscles need? How do we make our muscles big and strong? That's right, they have to be used and exercised and stretched. Stretch way up high. Good job. The more we use our muscles, the better they work, right? So therefore, the more we use our creativity and our imaginations, the better they're going to work as well. Some of the best ways to exercise our imaginations are by drawing and singing, building, writing, playing instruments. What else? Oh, that's right, my personal favorite, reading. Reading is a wonderful way to help us think of things in many different ways. Do you ever have trouble being creative? I know I do. Sometimes it's hard, but there are many ways that we can get out of those creative slumps. Sometimes I think, I want to draw something, but I can't think of anything to draw. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah, I'm sure that it has. So sometimes when that happens to me, I just close my eyes and I sort of just let pictures come into my brain. Oh, I got one. I want to draw a fish. I don't know where it came from. Sometimes these thoughts just come and you just have to go with it. So I'm going to get out my little whiteboard here and I'm going to draw a fish. I'm not really very good at drawing. Does that matter? No, it really doesn't. So there's my little fish. I'm going to give it an eyeball and a little smile. Looks pretty happy, right? But to me it looks a little, I don't know, like a little boring, I think. So I'd like to add some more things to it to make it a little bit more exciting. What kinds of things do fish have? That's right, they kind of have scales, don't they? So I could add feels, scales, but I'm going to use my creativity and add things like wings. I want this fish to have some big, beautiful wings. Here we go, so it can fly. And I think I'd also like for my fish to have a hat. Nothing better than a fish with a hat, right? What do you think? Pretty silly, huh? But it's nice and it's a good foundation for different things that you can do. You could continue to draw more into your picture. You could sing a song about it, like, here's my fish is in a hat. How do you like that? So you can think of all kinds of silly ways to add to your creativity when you're thinking about doing things like drawing pictures. You could write a story about this fish. You could do anything that you want. The ideas are endless. Just now, when I said singing is a good way to exercise our imaginations, it is. When we sing songs, we're often not doing the things that are in the songs, right? So like when we sing row, row, row your boat, are we really rowing boats? No, not usually. Maybe we are sometimes when we're actually in a boat singing that song. But right now, I wouldn't be in a boat if I sang that song. Or say I wanted to sing, I'm a little teapot. Am I a little teapot? No, I'm not. But I can use my imagination to pretend, and I can use my body to kind of help me along to pretend. So say if we were going to sing the song, I'm a little teapot, I would make a handle with one arm and a spout with the other. Can you do that with me? Very good. Here we go. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout, tip me over and pour me out. Did you like that? That was good. What if we sang it in a creative way? How could we get creative with our singing? Oh, I know. I want to sing it as if I was a robot. Can you sing that with me? Here we go. Gotta get our robot handle and our robot spout. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Tip me over and pour me out. You can do anything you want, as long as you're using your imagination. Remember when I said that reading books is a good way to exercise our imaginations? Well, it is a great way. Books can take us to faraway lands and let us pretend that animals can talk. It can help us see what it might be like to be someone else for a little while. Books can also help us be more creative just by being about creativity. I have some books I want to tell you about that are about being creative. The first book I want to tell you about is called Not a Box. It's written by Antoinette Portis. I like this book because it kind of looks like a box. It's about all the ways that we can pretend that a regular old cardboard box is something else. Have you ever done that? I bet you have. I definitely have. It starts out with a rabbit sitting in a box. It says, "Why are you sitting in a box?" Then, in the next page, you see what the rabbit's imagining it to be. Would you like to see? I'll show you. Is it a box? Not to the rabbit. The rabbit's using his imagination to pretend that it's a sports car or a race car. That's right. Can you guess what else the rabbit might pretend the box could be? Yeah, really anything. So I hope you'll read that book and find out what else he imagines. Do you have a cardboard box at home that you could pretend to be something else with? I wonder what it could be. I think you could think of all kinds of creative ways to use a box. I know I can. The next book I want to tell you about is called The Dot. The Dot is by Peter Reynolds. This book is about Vashti. It's a child who gets discouraged in art class because she can't think of anything to draw, kind of like what happened to me earlier. But her art teacher at school says, just draw a dot. So the next day she comes to class and she finds that her dot is hanging up behind her teacher's desk. Well, she looks at the dot and she thinks, I think I could do better than that. So she begins to paint many dots, all different colors and sizes. And this proves that sometimes just starting with something can lead to really great things and help us be creative. I really enjoy that book, and I think you will too. Another great book is called What Do You Do with an Idea? Can you see that? It's by Kobe Yamada. This book is a story about a child who has an idea following him around. It's a story about what we can do with our ideas when they seem too big or too strange or impossible. Sometimes I'll have a great idea. I think my best idea is the best thing ever, and that is that I could have ice cream for breakfast every day. Is that a good idea? Okay, no, maybe that's not a good idea. But anyway, I like to think my idea is the best thing ever, and then I tell someone and they think, no, that's not a good idea, Miss Emmy. But sometimes I think I don't care what they say. I'm going to not give up on this idea. I'm going to keep going, because if it's a really good idea and you stick with it, really great things can happen, and something like that happens. And what do you do with an idea? So you'll have to check that one out too. Another book that I really love is a nonfiction book. Nonfiction means true book, so it's a book that has real things in it. It's called Wild Ideas. In this book, the idea is, what can you do with a problem? And in this book by Ellen Kelsey, that's her name, right? Yeah, Ellen Kelsey. She takes on problem solving, and it imagines problems that we have and shows us how animals solve problems too. Like sometimes, I'll give you one example from the book that's really neat. It says, problems are like sticker burrs. They poke, they prick, they nag. But sometimes problems spark marvelous ideas. Zip. Step outside. Look. If squirrels can learn to cross roads by watching people, what can you learn from watching squirrels? So So it's just a neat idea. The book is a neat idea about how we can look at our problems and look at nature and see how we can solve problems based on things that we find in nature. Last but not least for today is a book called Sneaky Art. Now, Sneaky Art is another nonfiction book, but in this one, it shows us examples of crafts we can make to hide in plain sight. It's written by Martha Jocelyn, and books like this are great because they can help give us examples of things. If we're having a hard time thinking of something to do, it can help us think of new ideas for being creative. I chose a craft from this book to show you today. It's called a tin foil fish. Here it is. Here it comes. Ready? I used some very simple things to make this tin foil fish. You'll note it's just mounted on a stick that I found outside. And I used a piece of cardstock, which is a thick piece of paper, and then I wrapped it in tin foil and colored it a little bit with markers and then blotted it off so it would give it a little bit of color. You can't really tell in the video here, but in real life it looks like it's a tiny bit green. Anyway, that was a fun craft to make, and you can pretend like it's swimming. You could bake a bunch of these fish and hang them up and to hang in your room to float around you. So that's a fun and super easy craft. And I think that it's so fun that you would like to do it at home too. So I'm going to make some kits that you could call us up and say, I want one of those kits, and we'll give you one. So all of those books that I just showed you can be found here at the Brown County Library. You can come and pick them up. You can call us. You can ask, and we'll place them on hold for you. You can go to our website and request books that way by using your library card or your parents' or your caregiver's library card numbers. But no matter what, no matter how you get your books, I just want you to keep reading and keep using your imaginations. And you'll find that when you do that, you become more and more creative every day. Another fun thing I wanted to tell you about is that there's a website that you can go to called Storyline Online, and it has many videos of famous people and not so famous people reading some of the stories that I love to share with you, sometimes in story time. But a book that I wanted to share with you through that video is called Arnie the Donut by Laurie Keller, and it will be read to you by Chris O'Dowd. So stay tuned, make sure you watch the video. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I'd like to try a new creative way to say goodbye. I know a rhyme that I think would be a really fun one to share with you. It's called Peanut Butter, Marmalade, and Jam. Do you know what marmalade is? It's kind of like jelly, kind of like jam. You often will hear about orange marmalade. It's pretty yummy. I have it on toast sometimes. But I need you to help me by clapping your hands, and we're gonna clap in a rhythm as we say the rhyme. Here we go. Peanut butter, marmalade, and jam. Let's say goodbye as slowly as we can. Ready? Goodbye. Good job. That was slow. All right, let's do it again. Peanut butter, marmalade, and jam. Let's say goodbye as quickly as we can. Goodbye. That was fast. Can you say it really fast? Goodbye. Good job. Let's see. Can you think of another way to say it? Okay, yeah, I like that way. Peanut butter, marmalade, and jam. Let's say goodbye as happily as we can. Goodbye. It's so good to see you. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me today.